Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. Pat Tillman left the trail, and because of him, close to 30,000 people gathered for the 6th annual Pat's Run to honor the life of the fallen soldier. Pat was quite the player on the field, and off, even more heroic. We all know his story, a football player turned soldier who served his country only to die in battle in Afghanistan. And so we honor Pat and what he has left behind.
Pat Tillman was an important part of the Cardinals and this community, and what this stands for is really, to me, a great thing for our community.
In a sea of red, white, and blue, some of the runners sported gold. The Tillman military scholars flew in from all over the country to show their support.
We need a story like Pat Tillman to let the world know that veterans are out there and that we do provide a service to the country. You know, we do all have stories. You know, his legacy is one of many.
The run raises money for the Pat Tillman Foundation, which provides scholarships to veterans, active service members, and their families.
Well, after my husband was hurt and came home and we knew the extent of some of his injuries were going to make it so that he wasn't going to be able to work any longer after that. For the most part, I'll be the breadwinner for the family. So when I looked at going back to school, it was, what can I do to provide a foundation so that when we have kids, we can support our kids and give them a good life.
It was normal for me growing up with 2 deaf parents. My mom wasn't a citizen at the time, so that was difficult, having to, you know, resources and, you know, healthcare and things like that, food stamps. So I grew up on welfare and also Section 8 housing, which is basically the projects. That just gave me a lot of the fuel and motivation to just go forward and do what I need to do to go back and get my family out of that situation.
Well, I was at basic training when 9/11 happened, so I joined the December previously. I'd like to think that same drive why Pat Tillman decided to join the Army was similar as why I wanted to join. When I was gone for a year and a half, you know, my wife had, you know, our 2 kids, you know, and when I left, when our second daughter was, you know, 6 weeks old.
So I think with the foundation, what was so great is that they really want to seek out students who have maybe needs beyond a typical student. And for us, childcare was really our major issue. That was a huge expense for us and something that was going to be very difficult to cover, even with scholarships that we had received, financial aid, student loans, which really accumulate after a decade of school. So that support they provided for us above and beyond has just been tremendous.
Even if I wasn't able to go to school, or, you know, I didn't necessarily need to go to school, if I already, you know, was done or whatever, she could still use it to benefit her, and that just means a lot. Because I can't do that. I mean, I can't.
The Tillman Foundation, it's amazing that they looked at a spouse. I'm getting my master's in business administration and hope to find a job that'll allow me to provide for my family.
I think with being involved in the foundation, it's really just kind of given me a little bit more, or a lot more focus on what you can do. There's a lot of opportunities, and that even if I'm not, you know, specifically doing that as my day-to-day job, I can still help in other ways. You know, particularly with veterans, and I don't think it only goes to veterans. I mean, just helping people.
And I'm actually looking into grad school now, which was something that I would have never ever thought about doing. You know, I didn't even know what grad school was when I left high school. If it wasn't for him, you know, this foundation wouldn't be here.
This is Pat Tillman's legacy, and it will live on.